TGIF, it's Friday. It's the 18th of October, 2024. Your Day with the Podcast brought to you by Converse County Tourism. Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming are bustling with action this holiday season. Plan your excursion, including fun activities, beautiful downtowns, and historic treasures. Learn more at conversecountytourism.com. Well, the second part of the storm system will be developing today and into the weekend. Now, there's a beautiful photo. Thanks, Matt, for sending this in. This came in late yesterday afternoon, 16 miles west of the Elk Fire in the Bighorn Mountains. This is at 9,000 feet. So you can see nice snow accumulation right there. And that doesn't include what fell through the evening and overnight hours. So great news. Finally, just what the doctor ordered. Now, what we're seeing, the storm is splitting now. So the initial wave came through and brought the rain and snow yesterday and into last night. Now we're going to see some areas of redeveloping moisture over parts of Utah, western Colorado, parts of southwest and central Wyoming. I'll show you here on the satellite imagery how that's developing. And that will last through evening. We'll see more in the way of spotty shower activity over the northern half of Wyoming. Now, for the weekend, most areas will be cool, very fallish with clearing skies. However, that secondary low will clip especially the southern mountains of the state with some snow showers this weekend and maybe a few showers on the plains as we get into Sunday and early Monday, nothing heavy. And more of that will be down into Colorado. A much more typical October pattern now for the rest of the month. So we got 12, 13 days here left of the month. And the last 2 weeks of the month will be more what you'd expect, I guess. I don't like to use the word normal because there's really no such thing as a normal pattern in terms of anything normal with the weather. But it's going to be much more like what you think October should be like for the rest of the month. We have a couple of small systems next week. I do think northern Wyoming, southern Montana may have a couple of opportunities for showers again. Temperatures are going to rebound, but instead of rebounding into the 70s and 80s, we rebound into the 50s and 60s, which is, again, more typical for this time of year. I have Halloween with a question mark. You know, it's been a while since we've had a cold, stormy Halloween. Could that change this year? Well, we'll talk about that. Now, I'm going to loop the satellite imagery here this morning. What I want you to look at is what's going on in Utah. Notice there is a growing area of cloudiness. And you see how these areas here, they're kind of look like marshmallows or bubbles coming in a cup. This is enhanced formation of precipitation in clouds. And notice they're growing and notice they're lifting northeastward. So through the course of the morning into the early afternoon hours, this area right here is going to see enhanced precipitation. It's because the low is down here. The counterclockwise spin is bringing moist air up over on top of the cold front. So you see the enhancement right here. And if we look at what's going on, this is Powder River Pass, snow going on into the high country, so the mountains will still get snow. But if you look at the radar, you can see what I just showed you on satellite. You can see the area of enhanced precipitation right here. And this moisture is heading northeastward and kind of curving around the low. And if we zoom in a little bit more, so you can see here, Salt Lake, the Wasatch Front, you can see this enhanced area of moisture right here lifting north. So this is going to get up into I-80 of southern Wyoming here later this morning, northwest Colorado. Now, the rain-snow line has stayed pretty high overnight, but it may get a little bit lower this morning in some areas. Even some thunderstorm activity back here in southwest Utah. So this is sort of the second round coming on through. So this is by where we are at sunrise today, that low beginning to split off and settle down into southwestern areas of Utah. By Sunday morning, that low is still down there. It gets cut off, but during the day, Sunday into Monday, it begins to move. There it is by Monday morning. So this is what we've been showing you here over the last several days, and there's really no deviation from that. So from this morning, early this morning, through Monday afternoon, this is the precipitation forecast. Notice this heavy precipitation centered in southern Colorado, the Four Corners area. Look at northern and central and eastern New Mexico and the southern areas of Colorado along and south of I-70. That secondary low going to bring some really nice rain and very heavy snow to the mountains of southwest Colorado. This is the area of enhanced precipitation that's basically going to come in to parts of Wyoming this morning, lifting northeast out of Utah. This is that gap we've showed you where the front kind of stalled out and the upper level low is going to miss. So this area will get just spotty shower activity. But closer to the low, precipitation is going to be a little bit heavier, and this is what the snowfall totals look like. Look at those mountains of southwest Colorado, the high Wasatch. And there's still going to be lingering snow in Wyoming's mountains and maybe even a little bit of accumulating snow out onto the east, central, northeast plains of Wyoming. Little areas of snow may occur along intersections of I-80 today, so watch out for that, travelers. Where does that put us after the storm? Well, this is what I'm talking about, more typical October weather. These are the high temperatures by mid to late afternoon on Monday. So you can see 50s and 60s. That's more like it. Pretty cold up here in Canada, so there's more cold air to come later. But this is a more typical pattern. The good thing about this storm system, it didn't have any really Arctic connection to bring any real severe cold with it. So we're not looking at temperatures that are going to be severely cold for too long, rebounding and rebacking more to seasonal. But these fronts that'll be coming up and moving along the upper tier of the U.S. will occasionally send some of that cooler air from Canada south. And we see that with the front coming through Tuesday into Wednesday. This will drag some cooler air in. This will bring some showers to Montana, maybe northern areas of Wyoming, the Black Hills. It won't be a strong system, but what it'll do is just make it feel like, well, fall instead of summer. That'll be followed up by another little wave, probably coming through on Thursday. Then further out, I talked about Halloween. Now this is for display purposes only, but it's kind of fun. But we have been talking about late October, early November being colder, and this again continues to show up. The European model, right around Halloween, just before or into Halloween, shows a strong cold push of very cold air and moisture from the Pacific, and the door opens up to Canada. The European artificial intelligence model isn't as strong, but it's showing basically the same thing, and so is the GFS model. And it's all right around clustering, right around the last couple of days of October into Halloween, into early November. And when we get this configuration of the high here and the high here, that makes low pressure and cold want to be here. So watch the end of the month. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, folks, have yourself a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.